Instagram stories for Tuesday, May 28th. I'm your host, Daniel Hill. Just getting back into the swing of things after being away for a couple of days. Hopefully you had some time off and got a chance to unplug as well. As we get back into things, I want to talk about some Instagram news. But first, let's do a quick Mosseri Monday clip. Since I was away, I didn't have a chance to download Adam Mosseri's clips, but I came across one on Threads and I thought it was important to talk about. So here it is. The question posed to Adam was, why doesn't Instagram recommend longer videos anymore? Now, this is an interesting question because of a news item I talked about last week where Instagram was recommending that creators and brands make videos less than 90 seconds for Reels. So with that context, now the question, why doesn't Instagram recommend longer videos? Here's Adam's answer.
We focus on shorter video for a number of different reasons, but the most important is probably that we do a number of different things. One is we really connect people with friends, and two is we help people explore their interests using short form video. And those things are adjacent and they can be symbiotic. You discover an amazing video and you send it to a friend and then you talk about it. Now, if you shift over, there's another world of long form video, which is an adjacent business to short form video, but it's pretty far from connecting with friends. And generally we find that the more we lean into long form video, the worse it is for connecting with friends and a lot of other parts of our business. So for now, we are very focused on connecting with friends, short form video and your interests, and the overlap between those two ideas.
If I could boil that answer down into one sentence, shorter videos get shared more frequently. That's the main takeaway that you need to know. While we're on the subject of Adam Mosseri, he's been sharing some really good insights on his Threads account, and there's a couple of points that I want to mention that I've seen him talk about recently over there on Threads. There's a question posed by Casey Newton. Casey is a tech writer. I believe I've mentioned articles that he's written on this show previously, but he has the Threads account at Crumbler. The screenshot that Casey Newton posts is from Threads, where you're going to make a new thread and it asks you, what's new? And Casey points out about Threads' hesitancy around the topic of news, trying to understand exactly what Threads is all about if it's not supposed to be about news. He posted on Threads, quote, "This is not a question an app asks when it wants to avoid being a place to discuss news and current events." Adam Mosseri replied to this, and I think this thread post is very telling. He said, quote, "Just to clarify, and this is on me for not being specific enough in my language historically, we're not trying to avoid being a place for news. News about sports, music, fashion, culture is something we're actively pursuing. Political news is the topic where we are looking to be more careful. Politics is already very much on Threads, and that's okay. We're just not looking to amplify it." End quote. Yesterday, Adam Mosseri replied to someone else on a similar topic saying, quote, "We're not anti-news. We're just not looking to amplify political news. If you follow lots of political accounts, the ranking of posts from those accounts won't be affected by any of this." End quote. I think these are good insights. I will link to them in the show notes so you can read them for yourselves. In other news, reverse engineering hacker Alessandro Paluzzi posted an internal screenshot of the Instagram app with a new feature called Early Access to Features. He posted this on Twitter saying, quote, "Instagram is working to allow users to get early access to features." As I was looking at this screenshot, I was reminded of the Instagram beta program, which I have been part of for a very long time. I Googled to see if I was still part of the Instagram beta program, and apparently this is something that no longer exists. The help pages about the beta program on Instagram.com are no longer available, leading me to believe that the Instagram beta program is no longer available. But this thing that Instagram is potentially testing here, early access to features, might be a way of bringing that back, potentially with a charge. Could this potentially be part of the Meta Verified program? Maybe. You pay for access to Meta Verified. It includes all of the things that we've talked about so many times, like the blue check mark and so forth, but also early access to features. Who knows? That is an interesting idea. I will link to this screenshot in the show notes so you can check it out. And in other Instagram news, it seems they are testing a new editing feature for Reels called Memes. This is an interesting one, and I'll link to it in the show notes, of course. But basically, if there is content that you want to make around certain memes, Instagram has added a dedicated button within the Reels video editor to allow you to do that. It has a specific button in the Reels main menu, It also has a specific button in the edit Reels section. Each meme has its own sound, and Instagram doesn't mute the song previously added via the music button. I will link to this in the show notes so you can take a look at what it looks like. Okay, we are going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to talk about a social media strategy that I've been doing lately. Because I've been working with someone specific, you're going to like this. Stick around. Oh, hey, welcome back. One of the things that I've really been struggling with for a long time is creating content on social media that I'm proud of and performs well. I can create content that I'm proud of. It takes me a long time, but often that content that I've worked so hard to create does not perform very well. Conversely, often the things that I work on very minimally can do well, but I can't easily replicate that. That's been my experience. Also, I've been working very hard on this podcast, which is primarily an audio-based format. Creating video around this podcast was a challenge because I wasn't exactly sure the right way to approach it, how often to do it, and avoid burning myself out. I started working with my friend Mindy Thomas, who has been a guest on my podcast before. You know what? I'm going to let Mindy explain how we've been working together and what it's been like.
Hey everyone, I'm Mindy Thomas, founder of Upload Creative, a place for aspiring creators to learn how to build and monetize their online presence and create a life that works for them. I'm also a social strategist and short form video creator collaborating on UGC and social first video content for major brands. I've known Daniel for quite a while now, but he recently reached out to me about being an accountability partner for his social media. Since we've started working together, I've noticed points of struggle that plague all digital creators, not just Daniel. One thing I see often from both businesses and content creators alike is a hesitancy to post, that the post won't be good enough or get enough likes unless it's absolutely perfect. And if it doesn't perform the way you think it should, you completely shut down and avoid making any new posts out of fear of failure. So here are 3 things to know to combat this challenge. First and foremost, get comfortable being uncomfortable. We all know growth happens in the uncomfortable life phases. Creating and publishing your knowledge online is no different. It's like that nightmare of standing in front of a crowded room completely naked. But you know what matters more than how uncomfortable you feel in those moments? Knowing that someone across the internet needs to hear the knowledge you're so terrified to share. No matter what area of expertise you're in, someone is out there begging to learn what you know in hopes of improving their own life, career, or just their overall knowledge base. Don't take that for granted. The minute you change your focus from worrying how you're going to look to others and start asking, how can you add value and help others? Posting and sharing your knowledge online becomes so much easier. Number 2, if nothing changes, nothing changes. Simple as that. If you don't face your roadblocks head on, you'll be stuck on the same hamster wheel of hoping, wishing, and praying that something changes. But once again, nothing will change if nothing changes. Which brings me to my 3rd and final tip. Post it anyway. The only way you'll truly learn what works and what doesn't in your audience is by posting. If it doesn't perform well, use it as a tool to iterate your next round of content and try something new. How many tries did it take you to learn to ride a bike or do a cartwheel? Creating content that resonates is all about repetition. The more you post, test, and iterate, the easier it will get. I hope you found this valuable. If you're interested in leveling up your content and putting together a strategy, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Mindy S. Thomas and subscribe to my free newsletter, The Download, at uploadcreative.com.
Working with Mindy has been fantastic. It's really forced me to get out of my comfort zone, but also have a second set of eyes on the content that I'm creating to get feedback before I post it. I will link to all of Mindy's contact information in the show notes. So if you want to get connected with her and potentially work with her, you absolutely can. That is going to do it for today's episode. As always, thank you for listening, and be sure to come back next time for more social media news, strategy, or other things you need to know.
Let me tell you a couple things that you should know about me. A product manager but do not have a bachelor's degree, but actually that's factually a fraction of me. Another fraction's posting content irregular and irrationally. Still probably won't get a job at the Gram. They forgot, they don't know, or don't care who I am. That's why you never see me at the parties and events. My lack of followers must make me irrelevant. Don't have a course of book to sell to make a bag of grand. Not a social media marketer, don't represent any brands. Plain to see, don't have an agency, but I got a lot of spam. Just putting in my work, without the glitz and glam. Won't catch me eating fish, unless it's shrimp or clam. No six pack, no risk that, there's a gym card in my hand. Don't have a full-time job, but I got a lot of plans. Stay plotting, dropping knowledge on TikTok and Instagram.